Assalamu alaikum students. We have started our chapter number 3 in last class, and we got through the introduction of life of Pythagoras. Today we'll start the second part of this chapter, the Pythagoreans. The part is the Pythagorean society. That means what was the nature and characteristics of Pythagorean society that we'll see today. So let's start. We already have known that Pythagoreans were the followers of Pythagoras, or they were the followers of the thinking and views and philosophies of Pythagoras. So we already studied the fact that Pythagoras founded this society, and he remained as the head of this society many years. Now, the point that should be noted down that the Pythagorean society was not primarily a school of philosophy. It was not a philosophical society. That means the purpose and aim of this society was not to doing philosophy or cultivating philosophy or science. The society was not aimed to do this task. It was actually a religious and moral order. It was largely a mystical society. It was a society that was comprised of religious reformers. If we analog this society in today's world, we can associate this society uh, with today's Sufis, the mystics, and they had the same function, they had the same goals and same aims in that era that in today's life the Sufis and mystics have. So they were actually religious reformers, and the purpose of founding that society to bring the religious reforms. So that's why we say that this society was largely a mystical society and religious and a moral order. So we are enumerating three main characteristics to this society. The first is that this was a mystical society. That means the people who belonged to this society, they were mystics. Secondly, it was a religious society. That means they were religious reformers and they believed in religious rituals and ceremonials. And the third one is it was moral order. That means they uh, believed in certain kind of morality, and they wanted to enforce that certain kind of morality upon common and lay people. Okay, this society, the people of this society, the Pythagoreans, believed in Orphic sect. Orphic sect, we know this sect or this belief in Urdu as Avagon ka Nazariya, and our Hindu community actually believed in this sect, in this theory or in this philosophy, that is Orphic sect. Orphic sect believe in the belief or view of transmigration of soul into other bodies, including animal bodies. That means the people who believe in Orphic sect, they believe actually that when a human die, the soul of that man, that person, pass through and into another body. It reincarnates itself. It reincarnates itself into the different kinds of body, and even including animal bodies. And the new form of that soul depends upon the past deeds of that person. If a person is a bad person in his past life, then the soul of that person get into the animal body. And if that person was a good person and he did good deeds in his past life, then that person, or the soul of that person, would get into some good body, some good human body. So anyways, the Orphic sect actually believe in the wheel of things, the wheel of life. And all the people who belong to Orphic sects or Orphic religious views, they believe that the body should get released from this reincarnating wheel of bodies. The human soul is free. Human soul belongs to God. It's a shadow of God. It's a property of God. And the human body is a prison and it's a tomb for human soul. So that's why a human being should get released from this wheel of lives, and the human soul should get released from this reincarnating lives. And this so for Pythagoreans believed in Orphic sect, they also believed that human body is a tomb and prison for human soul. So human soul should get released from uh, this tomb of body or this prison of body. And now the question is that how would human body, human soul, get the release from human body? This is a question now. Generally and normally, all the people who believed in Orphic sect, they believed that through performing the religious rituals and ceremonials, a human soul can get released from human body. And what types of those religious rituals and ceremonials are? They might be जैसे जैसे कि हम अपने रिलीजन में हम लोग नमाज अदा करते हैं, रोज़ा रखते हैं, ज़कात करते हैं. दोज आर रिलीजियस सेरेमोनियल्स एंड रिचुअल्स. हमारा बेशक हमारा पर्पस वो नहीं है जो कि आर्फिक सेक्ट का होता है. आर्फिक सेक्ट से बिलोंग जो करते हैं लोग उनका होता है, बट वी all the people, all the religious people perform the religious ceremonies and religious rituals. So the people who believed in Orphic sect, they believed that through performing those ceremonials and rituals consistently, we can get release from the tomb of the body, or our soul can get released from the tomb of body or prison of body. So likewise, the Pythagoreans believed that a human soul can get released just by performing religious ceremonials and rituals. But they added in this belief that along with performing religious rituals and ceremonials, the intellectual pursuits, the cultivation of philosophy and science, and in general the intellectual contemplation of the ultimate reality or the basic principle of this universe would be a great help to get release from the wheel of lives. And from here they actually entered uh, the philosophical world. They entered the philosophy and science. So I am repeating this point. They believed, the Pythagoreans believed, to get released from the prison of body, one should do intellectual pursuits like cultivation of philosophy, cultivation of science, and in general one should do the intellectual contemplation. Contemplation means focusing upon, focusing intellectual focus upon the ultimate principle of universe. So when one person is thinking about the basic principle of universe, when one person is sorting the basic principle of universe, or he is sorting out that what is the basic principle of universe, then this contemplation, this intellectual pursuit would be a great help for that person to get released from the wheel of lives or from reincarnating lives. So from this point, the Pythagorean society is enlisted in the Greek philosophy, and that's why from this point of view they entered the philosophy. They did philosophy, they did science, and they did lots of things in the philosophy and mathematics and science. That's why we people study them as philosophers. So primarily or fundamentally, Pythagoreans were not uh, philosophers, or they were not philosophical people, but due to their religious views, they entered the philosophy and they cultivated the philosophy and science, and that's why we study them as the philosophers. So this was a point. Now let's move on to the next point. Next point is that the Pythagoreans' ethical views were rigorous and ascetic in character. That means they were so much extremist people actually. In the if in modern sense we can say that they were extremist people, and they had very rigorous and ascetic ethical views, and they insisted upon the utmost purity of life in the members of order, and they wanted to enforce their ethical rigorous views and their philosophies, their religious beliefs upon the common people. And let's study some of their rigorous views. They said that one should not eat flesh, one should get abstinence from the flesh or meat, and one should not walk through broadened roads, and one should wear uh, a garb, peculiar garb, a peculiar kind of dress. One should not eat beans, and they taught that one should get release from the tomb of the body by suiciding, because the man is a property of God and the shadow of God. So these were their rigorous ethical views, and they so far they were so much uh, fundamental to their views. They were extremist, and they wanted to enforce their moral order upon the common people, and they forbade the common people to not to eat the meat of their own dog, and not to eat beans, and wear the particular kind of dresses, the which were the garbs. And for this reason they also entered in politics. They were not actually politicians in the modern sense, or formally they were not politicians, but but because of the enforcement of their views upon common people, they entered the politics, and they actually got the government of Crotona, and they passed their ordinance upon the ordinary citizens of Crotona, and they got the government of Crotona. So since their views were so much rigorous, they were extremist, and a general persecution and hate occurred to them. The ordinary people started to hate these people, and they attacked the Pythagorean society where they used to sit and used to had used to have meetings. They attacked that place and they burned their office, and their general persecution occurred, and most of the Pythagoreans were killed or driven away. So the Pythagoras ran away from there, and it is supposed he might driven away. After some years, the society revived and continued its activities, but not much important and significant is known that had happened later on when the society was revived. And the incident, the general persecution was occurred between 440 and 430 before Christ. Now we come to some of the nature and characteristic of this society. So for this society was a mystical society. It was the reason that most of the historians and legends have associated so many stories, fanciful stories of miracles and wonders to Pythagoras and Pythagoreans. And the Pythagoreans cultivated arts, crafts, and gymnastics, music, medicines, and mathematics. And all the mathematical work and development that has done in early Greek period, that was largely the work of Pythagoreans. And Pythagoras is said to have discovered the 47th proposition of Euclid, जिसको हम उर्दू में अक्लीदस के उसूल भी कहते हैं. And it is assumed that the first book of Euclid is whole the work of Pythagoras. So they were the beginners in the mathematics, and they developed the mathematical work. And the you can say they originated the mathematical learning, and they actually developed this learning, and they also developed the arts, craft, gymnastic, music, and medicines. So these were their specialities, the specialities of Pythagoreans, the specialities of the works of Pythagoreans. So along with cultivating philosophy, science, they cultivated arts, crafts, gymnastics, music, medicines, and they developed the mathematics. So you people must focus upon their specialities, and you must focus upon the point that they did all these specialities just to get the in context of Orphic views, just to get release of prison of body, and just to get near to the God. This was their view, and for the fulfillment of their religious duty, they cultivated all these specialties and expertise of science, philosophy, mathematics, gymnastics, and music. I hope that all these things are clear to you people, and if you get any problem, you can get me back for clarification of that point. And lastly, I would recommend you to study the page number 31, 32, and 33 thoroughly. Thank you so much.